Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be starting a new series about how to set up a successful YouTube channel so that you, my viewers, can see just what it takes to start a YouTube channel. And if you're a beginner, we're going to have a lot of tips and tricks here. So go ahead and follow along, and if you want to learn about making YouTube channels, you'll be able to find some of that information here as well. So today the very first thing we're going to be doing is a requested video about making overlays or how to use an overlay in OBS while you're streaming. Now I do want to say that if you are going to be using overlays on your videos, make sure that you have a computer that is powerful enough to do so, especially if you're using animated overlays. Just remember, every new source or feature that you add into your OBS studio or whatever software you're using is going to take more power from your computer. So if you're already kind of at the limits of your processing power, don't add an extra overlay, or if you do add an overlay, make sure it's a static overlay and not an animated overlay. I'll go over that in a little bit as well, but just keep in mind, anything you add into your software is going to take up more processing power or whatever from your computer, and it's going to slow things down if you're already kind of capping your limit. So what I'm using is I am using just the regular OBS Studio. So let me go ahead and show you. It's going to look a little funky, but you see a million and one of me. This is what my OBS Studio looks like. I have all of my scenes right down here below me. You can see my scenes, my sources. Right now we're using a source that only has my camera. It's linked to my microphone, which I have right here beside me, and then the displays that you're seeing. You can also see the chat on the sides and everything from my previous stream. So anyway, my camera is kind of covering that up right now, but that's what we're looking at. So when I go to make myself an overlay, I use something called Stream Elements. Now, if you use Streamlabs OBS, which is another form of OBS that you might use to stream, you can do this as well. However, a lot of their overlays and a lot of their features will cost you money. You either have to pay for them up front or you have to have their premium membership. Using Stream Elements does not do that. So they are two separate entities. I know they sound kind of similar, Streamlabs and Stream Elements, and it's easy to get them confused. I've done it before. But I'm using Stream Elements, and these features are free. So when you log into this website, you will be asked to log in through your YouTube channel, which you can see up at the top over there. I've got my YouTube channel logo up in the top right hand corner. It also shows me different things that have happened. So like today or whatever, I did a stream. I got 3 new subscribers, no members. I did have a super chat from our good friend Owen, and no tips. I don't have my tip link down there for people to tip. I just feel like it's kind of weird. So I don't use it, but that's up to you if you want to use it. And it also shows you a lot of different information about your channel, similar to what you would see on your YouTube dashboard. It's just a little bit more visual. So if you're somebody like me with ADHD or you're a visual learner, sometimes it's just fun to look at it here. Okay, so on the side, you are going to see data and reports, streaming tools, revenue, chatbot, all that kind of stuff. We are going to click on the streaming tools option, and then we are going to click on overlay galleries. Now the ones that say overlays, those are the ones that you've already made or the ones that you have stored or saved or anything like that. We're going to go to the gallery. This is going to allow us to look at all of the different overlays that they have here. Now, as I was saying before, there is an option for static overlays and there are some for animated. So if I click on this Happy Holidays Animated, you're going to see that a lot of these things are animated. They move. You can see how this is moving. Sometimes some of these little, I think the bows might be moving. I'm not sure. Some of the things on the overlay itself move, and so that would be an animated overlay. There are some that are not animated. So let's see, like this one. This just says super theme, and there's nothing that says animated on it. So this will pop up and say, hey, you have a notification, but nothing in the notification is going to move. It's not like glittery or anything like that. And then all of the options for their be right back, starting soon pages, they don't move. Now one like this, the starting soon page, has movement. So just keep that in mind. Something that has an animated overlay is going to take more computer processing power than something that has a static overlay. So pick one that's going to work for your system. So I'm going to go ahead and just, I don't know, we'll pick one that is animated. Let's see, how about Phoenix Rising? You can pick it for specific games if you'd like to. We can go ahead and use this. So we are going to click Create My Overlay. This is going to allow you to just straight up copy any of the overlays if you want. So this is, let's see, in-game scene, talking scene, start scene. So you can copy any of those if you want to. Those links, we'll get back to that later because we are going to change some things. This is going to be the same for all of these overlays. So I'm just going to start with the one that has our webcam, basically, because that's kind of the most important for everyone. It shows everything, whereas one that is, let's see, let me go back. One that is just a starting page. You don't have your camera or anything. Actually, that's the talking scene. Let's do the live gameplay scene. So click Edit. It's going to have everything we need to do as far as our camera, as far as all of our notifications, everything like that. So you can see we've got the tip goal here. Now, I typically don't have tip goals, but you can leave that there if you want to. If you want to and you want to delete something, you can just highlight it and click delete. Or if you want it there later, come over to this side panel over here. I'm just going to double click this, so hopefully I can figure out where it's at. This was the tip goal. Let's see, here we go. Panel for edits, and you can see there's a lock if you don't want it to be movable, and we're going to go ahead and click this little eyeball, which hides it. So it's still going to be there, but in my actual live overlay, we won't see it because it's hidden. So maybe someday if I want to go back and add the tip goal, I can come back and unhide all of those and they'll be there visually again. You can move anything around. You can pick things up, move them wherever you want to move them to. If you don't want them, you can delete them or hide them just like I showed you. So usually I wouldn't, I don't have a lot of this stuff on my screen, but that's up to you if you want to. So down at the bottom, we've got follow for stream updates, and we've got all of our information here. So I typically go through each one of my my scenes, and I put in my information. So like Twitter, you can click it, and you can actually edit the text. Let's see, this one, double click it again. It says YouTube text. It is not YouTube text, but that's okay. Settings, enter your name here. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in at Danie. No, I think this is DanieG Online is my Twitter. You can see now it is changing that. Accidentally hit it. It changed down here. Now it says Twitter, and it shows my Twitter handle. So you'll have to go through on every single one of these images and do that, or every overlay and do that. It's kind of a pain in the butt. If you want, you can delete them as well. If you prefer to only have notifications, you can just literally hide pretty much everything on here if you want to. Hide everything except for this one in the middle, which right now is kind of empty. It's just blank. It doesn't look like anything. But if we go down to the bottom and we emulate, let's do a subscriber event, you'll see something pops up there, and then it goes away. So that is your alerts. So if you want to have the alerts but nothing else, you can just delete everything off the page, hide everything off the page, leave your alert box. You can put it wherever you want. If you want it down at the bottom, you can put it down at the bottom. If you want it up at the top, you can put it up at the top. Totally customizable wherever you want to put it. It emulates all different kinds of things. So there you go. You can have all of your little alerts. So the other thing that is kind of tricky with some of these is if you want a webcam, there's two options for the webcam. So you have one that's, a square ratio, and then down here at the bottom where my camera is, there's one that's rectangular. So depending on how your webcam is, you can adjust that as well. Now in Studio, so you can see my camera right now, if you hold down the Alt button and you click on any of the little boxes, you can actually kind of adjust your camera to be however you want it to be. Like this, you can do up and down, and it'll stay. So if your camera is not a square, if it's not a rectangle and it's not going to fit, don't worry, there's ways around that. Okay, we can move all of this stuff to wherever we want it to be. So let's say I want the square one. I'm going to put it down in this bottom corner because that's typically where I like my camera to be. Now I have this hidden whenever I just went through and started hiding things. So this is camera 4-3 frame. So I'm going to unhide that. And let's just say I want this to be like slightly large and down in the corner, just like this. And then when we have the overlay, I'll have my camera down there underneath of it. So there's that. So we've got our little overlay there. And then up at the top, you can see all different things like recent tip, recent super chat, recent sponsor, recent subscriber. You can either leave those there if you want or hide them. On my stream, I've been hiding those just because I don't do the tips and I don't get a lot of super chats or anything. I don't really necessarily want people to be paying me while I'm on stream to do different things. So I kind of hide those so it's not like an incentive for people to try to like one up the previous person. But if that's something you want up there, go ahead and have them up there. Okay, so now that we've created our overlay, and this is going to be the same for anything. So I've got, my end screen right here. I've got my Be Right Back screen right here. It's going to be the same for any of those, okay? So from here on out, this is going to be the exact same process other than adjusting your camera and such. And sorry, my dog is in the background. He's like, I don't know what he's doing. So over into our OBS Studios, we have all these different scenes down here. So for my streaming, I've got starting soon, live, Animal Crossing hard mode, I've got Be Right Back, and I've got a test scene that has nothing on it, and then I've got the scene that we're using right now. So if you don't have any scenes set up, you can go ahead and set them up however you want to, but I just have mine as live, and if you've already been streaming and using OBS, you most likely already have a scene that you're using for your gaming or whatever you're doing, and we're just going to pretend that my one that says chat is that. So we need to add an overlay. So we've got our scene, which is chat, and then our sources. Right now I just have camera. I have the window capture that has the stream elements in it. And I've got the display capture, which is the OBS Studio. So we are going to add an overlay. And in order to do that, we are going to click Add a Source. And we are going to use a browser source. I know that sounds really weird, but when you think about it, the source that we're using is a browser. Right here, what you're looking at in this stream elements, this is a browser. We are going to get a link to this screen, and we're actually going to be using this screen. So whatever happens on this screen is going to happen in our OBS. And you don't have to have this screen open when you're streaming. You can close out of this. You don't have to be logged into the website or anything. It'll still pull all of that information. So don't worry about going and logging in and everything every time you go to stream. Once you have it set up, you can totally ignore this website and never go back there ever again if you don't want to. So anyway, we are going to do new source. We are going to add a browser, and I just call it overlay. I'm just going to call it test for now since that's what we're doing. Overlay test. And it's going to bring up this page. Now you can see in the background right here, we've got what is going to be our overlay, but obviously it's not quite looking right, is it? So back over on our, let's see, get rid of that for a second. Over on our stream elements page, there's a preview option, there's a save option. We're going to hit save, and then we are going to copy this little link icon. It's going to automatically copy. I don't know that you can see it in the bottom corner, but when I do it, it says down at the bottom, it says copy to clipboard. So we are then going to take that link back over to OBS, and in our source box right here, we are going to place that link. Now width is not going to be 800 by 160. We're not doing that. We are going to do 920 by 1080. And those probably sound familiar to a lot of you, but that is what YouTube's aspect ratio is, or pretty much a typical HD TV. So if those numbers sound familiar to you, that is why. So now you can see we've got our overlay, which is kind of hard to see up against my black background of OBS. So let's bring this guy back up. All right. So now you can see we've got the overlay. Let me just go to like Google. So we've got like a white background to work with here. Okay, so we're on Google. There we go. Google's page. Now, you have to layer everything. So obviously the overlay test is listed first on my... So you can see that these are in order. Overlay test, camera, window capture, display capture. Anything that's underneath of the overlay is going to actually physically appear under the overlay on the screen. So it's like making a sandwich. You want the bread on top, whatever you want under the bread, whatever you want under that. You're making a sandwich. You're making a big old overlay sandwich. So basically, we've got my overlay here, and then I am going to move my camera. So if you need to set up your camera, you can go in and you can select all your different options for your cameras, and then you can move your camera to underneath of the webcam overlay and move it around so it's the right size. Now, like I said, if you have a wide camera and you don't want a wide camera, you can always use the Alt button. Hold the Alt button down and move your camera around, and it's going to allow you to adjust your camera to the size that you need for your webcam overlay. So now we've got ourselves in the webcam overlay. Now you can add everything else that you want. So if you want, let's see, let me move the overlay again so you can see everything. If you want to do a video capture device like a switch, you can always do that. Now mine, I don't really have it on right now, so it's not going to work. But you can add your games, your whatever you want to do in there. So for now, I'm just going to keep it at this. We'll move everything back to the way it was supposed to be so you can see. So now we've got our overlay. And then, like I said, just add everything that you would normally do underneath of your overlay. Or if you want it over top of your overlay, you can do that as well. And then I will show you if we emulate a subscriber event. I'll go back to Google just so you can see it a little bit better. Our subscriber event shows up on our screen, like so. So these are completely customizable. You can move them around however you want. You can even add your own elements in. So if you make your own picture and you want to throw it in there and you want stream elements to be like the crypt keeper of all of your elements, you can do that as well. You can use like Canva or Photoshop or anything to create some of these things. I don't do that because I'm just not that good. But setting up everything, that is basically how you do it. If you want to do like the starting soon page, you can do the exact same thing. So let's go here. Starting soon, I always take the countdown timer off because my anxiety can't handle looking at the countdown timer and knowing that that's when I gotta start. So I always delete the countdown timer off of mine, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So I'm gonna hit save, I'm gonna hit copy the link, and then I would go down to, I'd make a new scene in my, let's see, here we go. I'd make a new scene here, but just for the sake of this, not continuing to record this specific scene that I'm on now, you would make a new scene. You can name it starting soon. You do the same thing. You would put the link in the URL section with the same same aspect ratio. There we go. And now you've got your starting soon page. So like I said, make sure it's on a different scene, otherwise you'll see what just happened there. It just goes over top of you. But that way you have the availability to click on a new scene. So like over on the side I have you know, all my different scenes, and I can click the scene that I want to see. So make sure you've got those all in different scenes. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, that's how I make my overlays. I hope that this has been helpful to someone somewhere. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Let me know if there's anything that you want to know about starting a YouTube channel, starting a gaming channel, any questions at all. If you have any special video requests, I am more than happy to help out with anybody starting a YouTube channel. And yeah, I hope it's helpful. So give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.